Okay, Leslie, what brought you or your family to the Entiat Valley?
My dad came here for work, so we, of course, came with him.
And what did he do?
He didn't have a job. He was here from the war, after the war. They had moved here and lived in Bellingham during the naval building thing, whatever they were doing. And then he came here just for any kind of work that he could get. He was a teacher and a principal in North Dakota prior to that time, but couldn't teach in the state of Washington at that time because his certification was not transferable.
Okay.
Okay.
So then how did you or your family make their living over the years?
I think he did most everything. He painted, he did construction, he worked in the orchards, and eventually got his teaching certification transferred to the Washington State and then taught here at Entiat.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Then where did you work?
Where did I work? Later on when I grew up. Oh, okay.
We got you all grown up already.
I grew up. Okay. I worked my first year of teaching. I went to Seattle Pacific University, got a teaching degree. My first year in teaching was at Entiat High School in the old building. I think it was the last year that it was there before they did the new building.
You and
We
Judy
almost
just
passed.
missed.
Oh, okay.
I taught there.
Did you?
Yes.
I taught there 1963 to 64. And I remember during one of the classes that the announcement came of John F. Kennedy's assassination.
I was teaching in Quincy that year. It was my
Okay.
first year of teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got married, so we spent a couple of years in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I did some substitute teaching, a long-term substitute teaching for one of the French teachers that was in the school district. And then I came back to Entiat and taught here until I retired in 1992 when my first grandson was born. I said, I'm retiring. But in 2000 to 2008, then I taught at Wenatchee Valley College, ESL, in the evenings part-time, for fun.
Okay. When you were living here as a younger person, who were your neighbors?
We lived at Potato Creek, which is about
12 miles. You Gray's is 16. Potato Creek's 12.
Potato Creek is 12. So my immediate neighbors were the Robinson family, who lived right behind us up Potato Creek, and Haven and Musi Stanaway and their children were my classmates, and Peggy Long, Shorty Long, and Mavis, and Peggy Whitmore now. Peggy and all the kids there were our immediate neighbors within a mile.
And what kind of brought you all together? What kinds of things did you do as neighbors?
Kids?
Yeah, as kids.
Shorty had animals, and we did like some farming things together. He'd bring his hay wagon, and we would do 4th of July things. We did probably some bad risk winter activities. We would have the road to ourselves, so the dads would drive a pickup or a car, and we would ride the sleds behind them on the road or the skis.
Yeah, we did.
So we just did. And we swam in the very cold Entiat River quite frequently. That was our favorite spot.
Okay.
What events or hardships do you remember from your past?
We did not have electricity. It didn't go up that far. So we had a generator, and that supplied our electricity needs, but it was shut off at certain times because we needed to conserve our power and energy or whatever it was that ran it. And my dad made running water to our house by diverting a creek. So we had running water. And we had a wooden stove. That was my heater on the winter mornings. In the early morning, we would jump up to get dressed for school, and we would all be around the nice warm wooden heater. Other than that, it was just no TV, just.
Do you remember any kind of fire or windstorm or heavy snow or something that was memorable from that time?
I do. We did get heavy winters because we got to do quite a lot of skiing and sledding. That was a real big, common event. And in 1948, when my brother was born, one of my brothers was born, there was a flood, and it flooded everything. Our road was closed off. The meadow and everything was covered, and my mom had to go to the hospital to deliver her child. So we were left with the Longs, neighbor, and there was a bear. So the bear was between us and the house. So a couple of us climbed a tree. It was just a baby bear, but we didn't know the difference. That was our big event.
How did your family put food on the table? You had a garden, you did canning.
Yes, all of that. And Dad was a fisherman, so we had a lot of fish, and he hunted. We had venison. Had a garden when we could keep it from the animals.
Describe the old town of Entiat that you remember.
You know, we did not come to town all that often. It was quite a journey. I do remember when I was in high school that I worked for Gearson's one summer as a sophomore, I think, or a junior, and I was a soda clerk.
They had a soda fountain area.
But it was just like one road, and there were the stores were easy to go from one to the other on both sides. But I wasn't there much. I remember working there, but not much about the town itself.
In other words, you didn't travel a lot.
No. There were 6 kids in my family, so we had a car full. So when we went, it was a planned journey that had destinations and schedules.
I know I asked Joe one time why he didn't know more about Wenatchee, and he just looked at me. He grew up in Manson, and he said, but we didn't ever go to Wenatchee.
We never went to Wenatchee.
No, if you went on a trip, it was an event that
Yes.
Would you tell a story from your past or describe someone you remember? And the first name on our list was Albert Jones. If you didn't come to Entiat, you might not have known him.
I knew who Abby Jones, Abby Dabby. I remember seeing him, but I know nothing about him other than that.
Was there anybody up in your area that you can remember?
Oh, of course. John Brown was a neighbor of ours. He lived just up the road about a mile, and my brothers worked a lot with him. He was semi-literate, and my dad was an English teacher. So John would come to our house at first for help with writing deeds or papers or reading documents, helping to read. So John Brown was almost at all of our holidays, and he would ride or usually lead his horse. I don't know how often he rode it. He treated the horse better than he did himself sometimes. But John Brown was our local character. A very nice man.
What part of Entiat's past that no longer exists do you miss the most? It could be a place, a person, or a feeling.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Can I come back on that one?
Okay. Did your family have a barn?
No, we didn't have a barn. We had a couple of sheds, which would be, just animal shelters. We had some goats and chickens and turkeys, but we didn't have a barn.
What do you appreciate about the Entiat Valley?
That it has 4 seasons. It's small enough that we can pretty much recognize or know the people there. And it's been really fun for me to be in one place and to see families grow and change, and then see the children and then the grandchildren. So I think just the family kind of atmosphere.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, and I passed on the question about what I miss. I'm thinking, I can't think of anything right offhand.
Okay, thank you for your
Well,
interview.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Joe's got a
No,
question.
no, I wanna know what one memorable experience do you have in teaching?
Oh,
Mm.
oh my.
Do you have one that stands out? Do you have a student that stands out, or an event while you were teaching, or? Probably you've got a list of them.
Pin me down. Not really. Just really great kids, and some of them have gone on to do just wonderful things. I do take it back. John Cordell was one of my students, and he was a character, a really fun, non-serious student, and he was a great athlete. He was just a really good kid. He got into more trouble, tricks and just monkey business. Went on to become a principal. And of all my kids, I tell him he was the one that I least thought would even continue in education, much less excel in it. And he's a wonderful principal. Probably because he knows all the stuff they're going to get up to before they even think of it.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, one of the questions when people ask me, he said, what do you teach? And my stock answer is, kids, of course.
Right.
Yep.
Probably of all the subjects, you
Nine,
teach a
12,
lot
13.
of subjects when you're in a small school,
Shall we
so you
assign something?
have about 10
I
preps.
love that.
My main goal in teaching was to teach
Oh, only one.
timelines, make sure that they're on time and responsible, neat. The subject matter wasn't quite as important as the fact that they needed to fit themselves into a working social relationship with the
You bet.
world. Yeah,
You bet,
kids.
you bet. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you very much. Now, what we'd like to do